So first and foremost, my name is Sean Kozak. I am the CEO of Tickblaze, and on behalf of the organization, this is a marketplace webinar event. I'm very grateful to have my team here to assist in the presentation because in these big events, obviously there's a lot of questions, there's a lot of information that's being processed around. So we want to make sure that you guys get the support you need. So in the event you do have a question, please type it in the chat box and we will get to it in a timely fashion. If we don't get to it right away, we're not ignoring you. We'll do that at the end. We're going to allow for some time for Q&A. Just a few groundkeeping rules that it is recorded, so we will be sending out a webinar recording after. So rest assured, you can watch it, you can take a look at it, you can go over it a few times. I think it'll be good commonplace for you to do so anyways, because we're going to be covering a lot of material today, okay? And before we get started, I always like to just ask the question here is, how many of you guys have not heard of a trade copier? I know everybody that has, but how many of you guys are new to trade copying? Anybody here new to trade copying? Type an N if you're new to trade copying, or if you've never used a trade copier, or if you're new to like trade copy discussions, et cetera, et cetera. So we've got a lot of people in here that are saying new. Type a yes if you've been using trade copiers to some capacity, either on other platforms or any of them. Type an S if you've been using a trade copier, all that stuff, okay? So we got a lot of people saying no, a lot of people saying yes. Great, okay? Let's go into a few other discussion questions. I just want to kind of gauge the audience here so that way we can give everybody else a chance to kind of log in and do a Zoom update, right? How many of you guys have had problems with trade copiers? Type a P if you had a problem with a trade copier before. Type a big P, big fat P, if you've had a problem with a trade copier. Okay. All right. Okay. We're starting to get the common ground between us. Fantastic. Okay. Well, we're here to solve that today. That's our mission. The story behind the Ignite Copier by Tickblaze is that, we've been doing this before trade copiers even existed, right? We've worked with trading technology providers since the beginning of the technology realm of trade copying and prop trading for the last decade, okay? We've used every single trade copier in the industry. We know the owners, we know the companies, we've worked with the organizations. And the reality is that we were approached by traders, we were approached by risk managers at prop firms, and I've even had conversations with brokers about compliance and integration based off of different copiers and what they can and cannot do. And so what kind of led us to today's presentation is that we had to just kind of get in a group and look at the problems, look at the solutions, look at the use case, look at the need. And essentially, sometimes when something doesn't exist, or if there's problems that we can't get fixed, we just have to kind of roll up the sleeves and build it ourselves. And that's exactly what we had to do, right? So what we did as an organization is we put a very large team together that has a lot of experience in order execution, latency, technology, infrastructure, prop trading, trade copiers. And we literally built what we call a platform-based copier internally inside of Tickblaze, okay? It's called a local trade copier for a reason, is because it's actually built directly inside of the platform, okay? And there's reasons for this. We're going to talk about the why behind that and why it's more valuable than, say, a serverless copier or a web-based copier. There's a lot of things that traders may or may not know that are meant for certain aspects of the use case of technology. In today's presentation, what my goal is to be able to walk you through all of the reasons why this copier is superior and what it can do for you as a trader within our organization. Okay, does that make sense? Give me a yes if that makes sense to you. Okay. And don't worry, we've got some batshit crazy pricing that you guys are going to just go crazy over. It's a launch and it's a copier, and we just got some really, really cool stuff here, okay? Now, one thing that I want to make note of is that this is a multi-account trading solution. So what does that mean? It means that you can use it with multiple brokers, you can use it with multiple prop firms, and you can use it with multiple asset classes. So not all copiers are created equal, guys. It's very, very important, especially those that are built inside of trade platforms, right? Especially those that are web-based and how they're not really allowed in certain organizations. We're going to talk about the use cases. But what's really cool about this is that, yes, you can multi-broker trade in live execution. Yes, you can multi-prop, and yes, you can multi-asset. Okay, that's one of the biggest things that we want to talk about here today, okay? Now, because it is a trading presentation, I do need to cover a quick disclaimer. So as always, if you guys could do me a favor, read this, please understand it. If you don't understand it, copy it, send it to your lawyer, send them an email. We'd be happy to put you in touch with compliance. But for those of you that are familiar with disclaimers, we're not here to guarantee anything other than education, software, and product knowledge, okay? Can't guarantee your results or anything. Plus, this is not a strategy video. This is a technology video, so it shouldn't be an issue. But can you guys just do me a favor and type a Y in the chat box so that I know that you understand and accept this disclaimer? Fantastic. Great. Perfect. A lot of Ys. Fantastic. I think we're all on the same page. Great. So this is a very simple message, guys. I'm just going to get right into that. I'm not going to show you a copycat version of another copier. One of the things that you see in the industry is you get a trade copier and then somebody else copies the trade copier. And next thing you know, you got 10 freaking trade copiers. They're all doing the same shit. Okay. So that's not something that you're going to find here. Okay. White labeled or copycatting or et cetera, et cetera. You guys get the point, right? The reason we built the Ignite Copier, it's called the Ignite Copier for a reason, is because it is to ignite use cases that do not exist in other aspects of technology and other copiers. We're going to show you what we feel is the future of copy trading that is compliant. And what does compliant mean? It means that it is accepted by prop firms and brokers alike. And there are features that we've built that have never been built in any other copiers to date that we know of, that we could find, right? There is things that we needed to be done that just were not able to be done in other copiers. So we built it because we needed them for our own use cases, not only on Tickblaze, but on our prop firms and some of the partners that we're looking to serve, okay? We do believe that we provide an unparalleled advantage over other copier technology providers, and we are raising the bar. Why? Because there's a reason we built it. Because we needed things to be done that were not being done. So it's really simple, guys. If we have to be able to do something, we got to do it yourself sometimes, okay? So it's very straightforward. We're going to go over all the details today, and then by the end of the presentation, there shouldn't be any questions, okay? Now, we spent a copious amount of time. Big shout out to my head of QA, JVC, okay? He spent a lot of time filming tutorial videos on how to use the copiers, okay? Now, we're going to get into all the basics today. We're going to get into all the functions. But what we'll do today is anybody here that wants to watch the training can watch the training. Anybody that wants to look at the technology can. We're going to talk about the struggle with a lot of copiers. We're going to talk about the solution that we built because we needed a comparable aspect of it. We're going to show you that there is no comparison to what we've built. We're going to go over the features. Right? We're going to talk about risk manager mode. Now, risk manager mode most likely won't apply to a lot of you because most of you are not managing risk for prop firms or brokers, but we will talk about what it is because it is unique to us and it doesn't exist in other copiers. To date, nobody does what we do with risk manager aspects, okay? There's a reason for that. We had risk managers in prop firms collaborate on discussions around what's needed, and it'll be based off of that, okay? Now, we're going to talk about copier settings, and it's very important that you understand copier settings. We'll talk about how to use the copier and what it does. We will be giving away a free license, and we have very, very special launch pricing today because, well, we do that, and it's a very, very sexy product, and we want to provide a really, really sexy price, okay? So does everybody understand that? Give me a yes if that makes sense. We'll make sure everybody's on the same page, yeah? Fantastic. Great. Easy peasy. So I want to talk about the problems that we've experienced about copy trading, because copy trading is a very, very big part of the future of the trading industry. It is not some new discussion. It is something that is used at scale that moves hundreds of millions of dollars around through prop firms globally across futures and Forex and crypto, et cetera. It doesn't really exist too much in the equity space just due to regulation, but it does exist heavily in futures and Forex, okay? And what we've seen over the years is, you know, one copier starts and then everybody gets excited about the potential. And then somebody else builds a new copier and they put lipstick on a pig and it's the same stuff, just with a different name. And then what ends up happening is, but they don't really solve the problems, right? They just make a new product that does the same thing and they put a discount code together and they say, oh, look, I got a cool copier. And then everybody's like, okay, well, there's nothing really sexy about that. So whatever, right? That doesn't solve the problem. And so I think if you're going to understand the pain or the problem around trade copying, I think it's really important because when you use trade copiers, It can make or break your accounts. We've seen many times copiers fail. We've seen many times copiers create issues. We've had many times that, you know, what happens on one copier shits the bed on the other copier, and it's all the same story. It's just pass the buck, right? So what we need to realize is we need to get into those issues, and we need to figure out, okay, how do we solve it? Okay, well, first of all, a lot of times copiers that are cloud-based, that are not based on your actual platform, they disconnect a lot. There's a reason for that. There's latency through that. There's just server infrastructure that causes problems with copying. Latency between simulators, platforms, broker connections, all things in between. And a lot of times that creates big slippage, it creates big headaches, it creates failed accounts, it creates stops not being able to do things. There's a lot of things with disconnecting during trade activity. Now, anybody here has anybody ever felt that where you have a cloud copier and it doesn't really live up to its standards because of the disconnecting and the issues? Yeah, Thomas says this week. Jean says yes. Everybody, yeah, numerous times. Okay, so there's a reason for that, right? Sometimes follower orders don't match the leader's trades, right? So sometimes, you know, you take a trade in a leader account, but the follower accounts don't do what they're supposed to do, right? What a problem. Okay. A lot of times traders will lose a payout because copiers glitch, and there's issues with prop trading accounts. And honestly, I'm not here to toot our own horn with our own prop firm, but a lot of times, you know, we've seen it where traders will come to us and say, hey, listen, like this wasn't us, this was a copier problem. And we've reinstated their payouts just because we understand the problem at hand. And I can tell you right now, 9 out of 10 prop firms don't give a shit if your copier don't work, right? They don't care. So I'm here to tell you right now that anybody in here that's ever experienced a loss of revenue or a loss of payouts because of a copier problem, well, join the club. I think everybody in the world's had that experience. Okay. VPSs and install, when you're using a VPS, you know, you have to install a lot of extra plugins just to get it to work. And, you know, that's not always necessarily a good experience for some traders. Cloud copiers get rate limited, or they're very slow when the markets move very fast. These are things that a lot of traders don't realize is going on because of the server requirements or the server load that is basically used through the latency of the order execution. A couple things here is that, you know, I don't know if you've seen recently, there's been actual bigger prop firms that have actually announced that they're disapproving the use of certain copiers. The reality is that not all copiers are compliant for prop firm rules. And some prop firms have even gone as far as to discontinue the use of certain copier activity. They've basically blacklisted a lot of the traders' accounts that are using them. And what's important to understand is it's not even just the prop firms. If you go to a broker, any futures broker or Forex liquidity provider or any major broker that's regulated, you're going to notice that they will not allow copiers that are not built inside of the trading platform. Now, let me explain why. Because your user data is exposed to hackers, and brokers can't have that level of compliance breakage inside of their firm. So let me explain what that means. A broker is regulated, right, and differently than, say, a prop firm, and that may change in the future. Here, I'm not a regulatory lawyer, nor do I work with the governing bodies. But what I will tell you, based on the conversations that I've had with brokers, is that they're not allowed to use certain types of copiers because the user's data, whether that's email, phone, account activity, everything can be exposed when it is cloud-based. And that is a compliant nightmare for prop firms and brokers. So yes, there's a lot of cloud-based copiers out there, but I do see a world where they become few and far between, just due to the sheer changes that are happening across a lot of the prop firms and just a lot of the nightmares that are going on with prop firms and copiers. Okay. The other thing too, and this is something that I'm very big on, is just, is it freaking easy to use? Like, I don't know about you guys, but like even the guys out there that say, hey, I've got a really user-friendly copier, it still is not user-friendly. Like even the ones that I've used out there, it's like there's so many features for a feature that needs a feature, and it's like, are you even using it? Or is it even working? And then what ends up happening is that the UI doesn't get changed because there's so much development that needs to be changed to keep it updated, that next thing you know, there's so many bugs that just never get attended to because the technology and what happens with developers, and this is not a slam on developers because I employ a lot of them, but developers are not always necessarily the traders. And a lot of times traders, they're like, well, why do I need this? And why do I need that? And it's like, how do I even use this? And next thing you know, you don't forget to set it up properly, or the UI doesn't make it easy for you. And next thing you know, you don't trust using it. And, it should never be that, right? And sometimes the most simplest, most accurate tools are the best ones to be using, just due to the fact that it's easier for the organization to maintain it and to maintain its structure. Okay. Another thing too is that a lot of times you need to manage multiple brokers and prop firms together. And what ends up happening is that like you can, maybe you're using one copier, but if you're not using that platform, you can't use the other copier. And sometimes if you're using prop accounts and then you want to switch to broker accounts, but you can't because the features aren't allowed, or you got to pay for an upgrade to get. There's a lot. There's a lot of things that basically can go into the ability to need to manage multiple broker and multiple prop firms simultaneously. Sometimes they don't scale. I'll give you an example. What this means is that a lot of times you got to buy more licenses, or you got to pay more fees, or you got to basically pay for the upgrades, or you got to pay for more usage and stuff. And so what ends up happening is the traders say, well, how come you're charging me more and more and more for the use of a copier? And it's because the business really wasn't set up to basically scale proper pricing with the customers. Okay. The other thing, and the last one I'll lead here is when a trader's trading, when you're trading one account, it's tough already. Yeah. Like it's actually freaking tough out there to be a great trader. Imagine that. Then when you amplify that with 2, 3, 4, 5 accounts or even more, okay, you're amplifying the ability to manage and make decisions, which means you got to manage execution on not one account, but 5 accounts. You need to manage stop management on 5 accounts, target management on 5 accounts. You need to manage the slippage, the latency, the risk controls, the drawdowns, and it's amplified across all of your accounts. So one of the things that we've always said on the education side of the business is that you never want to use a copier till you're ready to use a copier. But does that stop everybody? No, everybody just goes right into trade copying because they think, well, oh, wow, I can make $500 times 10 accounts, right? You guys get the picture. But what ends up happening is that copiers, what if they're not user intuitive or they're really difficult to use, it makes the risk control dangerous. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to end all this. All of the stuff on here was what we wanted to fix. How many of you guys would like to use a copier that fixes all these problems? Yes or no? Just to be realistic with me. Yeah. Perfect. And don't worry, it's so cheap that literally your dog could pay for it if you have a dog. Why? Because we want everybody using it because it is the best out there. Okay, so let's get into it. Can everybody see that picture? This is me taking a trade on a market profile chart, and on the right, I've got my copier. Okay, you see the picture of the copier? It's built right into Tickblaze. It's a widget. You can have it as a floating widget or as a dockable widget. We'll talk about it. We've got drag and drop control menus, very, very simple, intuitive UI, very easy titles, very easy settings. We are going to keep it super, super, super simple. What's really cool is that you can use this the same way you trade on the platform, right? The same way you trade on a chart, the same way you load something. You don't need to set up multiple company installs. You don't need to do different. When we update the platform, we update the copier. When we turn on the platform, the copier is there to use if you have a license for it, right? Well, great question. So let's do this. So David's asking, how many accounts will it support? Okay, I'm going to bring in somebody now to help answer this. Okay, so JVC, if you're here, head of QA, when you guys were stress testing the load on this, can you guys tell me the maximum number of accounts you guys went up to for stress testing?
I don't actually know the exact number that they maxed out on. One of my team was actually doing that specific testing, but I know it was over 40. It was somewhere between 40 and 100. I know that much.
Yeah, right. But what was the maximum? I think you guys were using like up to like 50 to 100 as your stress test to kind of hit a benchmark.
Yeah,
Like,
like I said, somewhere between 40 and 100 was what I know
yeah,
they were doing. And I know
yeah,
there theoretically, I don't know of any reason it has a limit. I mean, obviously all technology, your computer is at some point gonna
sure.
hate you and die. But I don't
Sure.
know if they're being eliminated.
So when I was meeting with John, our CTO, and when I was talking about this, the reason we were testing so many accounts, guys, is because a big part of what we were trying to solve for was latency. The biggest thing that we really wanted to dial in was latency on the platform and the copier versus latency to the broker connection itself. And so we'll get into latency discussions in a little bit here, but let's just tell you right now that there is no way that you're going to be able to do on our copier. Let me rephrase that. We can't do on other copiers what we can do on this copier. Let's just say it that simple. Okay. Does that make sense, guys? Right. And it's due to the sheer fact of what we put it through. We put it through the ringer because if I'm going to be doing this and I'm going to be using this and we're going to be using this for Prop Shop Trader and all of the other prop firms that Tickblaze is going to be supporting in the next quarter, which is a lot, by the way, there's going to be a specific use case and a need case for stability and infrastructure around latency and just maximum of accounts. Okay. So let's get into this. Let's just talk about that in just a second. So what we're going to do is this is a few things here that really make it, well, there's just a few things here that make this unique, okay? We do not use cloud. This is a local engine copier, which means zero downtime, zero latency. Like what that means is that like our primary mandate was to make this as fast and basically sophisticated in terms of structural engineering for latency as possible. Like outside of what we've done, you're next, now you're getting into like HFT servers with like fiber optics closest, like you'd have to build a building next to the exchange type of latency stuff. And we're not doing that. I mean, that's beyond the scope of retail trading. But the goal is that we don't want to have chaos in the cloud. Okay. We can't use the word perfect because it's not compliant. But the goal was to get us next to perfect copy trading every time, which means they match tick for tick across all of the accounts that are following through the broker connection. Now, let me explain this. It does require a broker connection. What does a broker connection mean? You need to either connect to Rhythmic or CQG or whatever broker you're using, whatever prop firm infrastructure you're using, whatever prop firm infrastructure is supported with your logins. We connect to a broker account inside the platform the same way we would any prop firm, and that will automatically mirror those trades. We're going to get into that in a minute. Okay. No ghost orders, no surprises. Here's the really cool part. We built an auditing system. Okay, what the hell is an auditing system? An auditing system is there to protect your ass and your face at the same time. How many of you guys would love to be able to prove what you've done to a firm that is questioning the intent of your actions? How many of you guys would love to be able to say, hey, this is what happened. This is what I did. Well, let me explain something. The traders want that, and so do the prop firms and the brokers. Okay. So do the prop firms and the brokers. Why? Because we're trying to make sure we get to the bottom of the information. So what we've done is we've built an auditing system that you can use and read and you can basically deploy so that we can verify the execution and the details inside of the copy trade activity. Okay. It's built into Tickblaze. It's not a plugin. Okay, there's no VPS. You don't need to install anything. You don't need to import and run separate installers. All you need to use is just use Tickblaze. It's built inside of Tickblaze. Okay, when we say compliance ready, the reason where it's compliance ready is that we've built it to support both the traders as well as the companies that are under contract with us with risk management and compliance. In order for us to unlock the risk modes, which we'll get into in just a minute, there will need to be a KYC and a verification process to ensure no illegal activity is taking place in the back end of the risk models. But this doesn't really affect most of the retail traders in here. But let's just say that, we've built stuff to service all of the companies that are going to be working with the platform and the technology. Okay. It is very clean. I was very, very impressed. Let me explain something. It takes a lot to impress me, right? I've been an architect of technology since 2015, probably built more products in the industry than anybody I've ever cared to know. And it was so clean, it impressed me. And it takes a lot to impress me because I build a lot of software, right? But as a trader and as an educator, as an influencer, as somebody that's actually worked with a lot of traders, I've had my fair share of difficulties trying to use things which were supposed to be easy. And I think you guys will love it. It's super, super intuitive. It's super clean. Even traders that struggle with just technology, you're not going to have an issue with this because we've made it to be dummy proof. Okay. It is multi-broker and it is multi-prop. What's nice about Tickblaze and the infrastructure on Tickblaze is that Tickblaze allows for you to connect to as many brokers as you have a connection to. You could have a connection to 15 different prop firms, and you can load different desktops for each. And what the way the copier is designed is it'll load everything that is connected through all desktops simultaneously. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you're trading for 5 prop firms, okay? Well, the way that Tickblaze is designed is to connect to each prop firm independently inside of a desktop. So you would load 5 desktops, but the copier reads all 5 of them simultaneously in that instance. So this is how you multi-prop, multi-broker all within the platform. No, you can't do this in Tradeovate. No, you can't do this in Quant Tower. No, you can't do this in all the other platforms. It doesn't exist. So the reason it doesn't exist is because these other platforms are not built to do this. And therefore, we've built this to be able to handle this. And we'll teach you how to do that tomorrow in the AMA. We're going to go through how to set it up and how to go through all that. And trust me, I know there's going to be a lot of questions, but let's just say that we've built it to be a superior solution for multi-brokers and multi-prop connections, okay? There's unlimited scaling. So like we're not here to throttle the amount of accounts you have, the amount of leaders and followers. You don't have to pay for additional licenses to use it on different accounts and usage, et cetera, et cetera. It's built into the platform for a reason, okay? And there are built-in risk controls. So one of the things that we wanted to do is we wanted to create max loss and profit objectives for traders. So what you can do is you can set up safeguards. You can protect yourself in the copier from things that go against you or things that you want to shut yourself off from. Maybe you're trading and you set a target objective and you can't manage all the accounts for whatever reason. You can basically create risk controls for loss and profit objectives so that you don't have to be thinking. You can just let the copier manage the account, whether that's the downside or whether that's the upside. We've built those in, and those can be turned on and off literally with a click of a button, right? What's cool is that it's multi-asset, done right. What does done right mean? Well, it doesn't matter as long as you can connect to stocks, futures, Forex, or crypto. We also built in micro to mini mapping. So sometimes you may not want to trade the micro, but you want to trade the minis, or you want to trade the mini, but you don't want to trade the micro, or vice versa. Maybe you want to take an S&P trade, but it automatically fills into an MES trade. We have the ability for that. You have the ability to go back and forth on this, which is really, really cool, depending on those that are looking to manage the commissions or non-commissions, et cetera. Some traders really like to do those things. So this is something that is very, very unique to us. The other thing too is that like this is built by us, right? And no offense, but like no offense to the other programmers out there, and there's a lot of people that have good intentions, but very few of them are going to build a Tickblaze trading platform. Okay, very few of them have the experience that we do on the back end infrastructure of order execution, broker connectivity, data connectivity, latency, platform infrastructure. This is not built with just, hey, we got a developer, let's build a copier. Okay, this is built by the team behind the back end infrastructure of everything that matters inside of Tickblaze. And what's cool about this is that we have an entire dev and compliance team that has worked on this as a unified factor to be able to ensure that moving forward, anything that we find or we have feature requests, or if there is a bug, God forbid, we can immediately address it instantaneously without having to worry about third-party practices. Like the issue we've always had in the prop space and with other vendors is that when shit happens on these copiers, there's nothing we can do about it. Like we've got thousands of traders through our own prop firm and through other companies we work with that come to us and say, well, what do we do with we can't do anything. Our hands are tied when other companies have bugs or we're waiting for them to develop or put a feature upgrade. We can't do anything about that. We can control this here. So why is that a big benefit? Well, because we're in control. And when we're in control, things happen 10 times faster than anything else. Why? Because we're able to manage that. We can build it, we can test it, we can deploy it, we can update it the same way we do with our platform, okay? Then the other thing too is that because it's built into the platform, you don't have to worry about a lot of times where different instances of like how many of you guys have used other providers where you're using it and then one platform crashes and the other one's still up and running, or vice versa, right? What happens is that which stop your order execution. And so we built it so that it's inside of Tickblaze. And when it's inside of Tickblaze, the orders rest natively inside of Tickblaze in the brokerage connection. So you can really rely on the aspect of like less worry on this, because being built in the platform, it allows you to be able to ensure that the orders are executed. They're in the platform. As long as they're executed through the brokerage connection, you're in good hands. Okay. So I know that's a lot of text. That's a lot of me talking, but does everybody kind of see the power behind that? Give me a yes if that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, great. So here's the thing, right? Like the way that it works is on the top of the platform, whenever you're connected to data, you know you're connected to data. Whenever you're connected to a broker, you know you're connected to a broker. Well, now because the copier is built inside of the copier and it's inside of Tickblaze, you will always be able to see if you have a copier active. You could have the copier turned off or on. You could have it not even showing. But if you have a copier active somewhere in the platform, you will know it's got an order or it's got a copier active. Why is this important? Well, maybe you've got 5 desktops going and maybe you've got a whole bunch of charts loaded. Maybe you don't even know your copier is there. You will always know if a copier is active. This is a security safeguard because if you're multi-propping or multi-brokering, you're going to need to know at a quick glance, is there any copier risk on the table? Okay. We also have it so that you can ultimately at any given time see the groups between leaders, followers, and unassigned accounts. What's really cool is the drag and drop connectivity that we're going to go into. You can literally just click and drag your accounts to one section or the other, which we will show you here in just a second. Okay. Now, this is a great example of like beautiful UI. Let me grab a cursor here. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm just going to load this. I'm going to grab a box. So what do I mean by beautiful UI? Okay. 1 second, guys. I'm just loading this up. So beautiful UI means is that you have 3, well, let's take a look at the flatten button. This is like your master shutdown, that the ship is under mayday, man overboard, shit's hitting the fan. The markets are going upside down. Trump just tweeted and the CPI came out and the non-farm payrolls and FOMC all happened on the same minute. Yeah. If you need to hit that top flatten button, that is the master kill switch across the entire platform for copiers. You hit that button so that everything shuts down. Okay, that is an all kill all switch. This is like your get out of jail free card. Okay, does that make sense? Now, the next one here, you've got to flatten here. This flattens all your leader accounts. This flattens all of your follower accounts. Why do we do this? Because sometimes you may want to leave your follower accounts in the trades, but you want to kill your leader accounts because you don't want things happening. Sometimes you want to kill your follower accounts, but you want to leave your leaders active. This was never done in any of the other copiers. And the problem we found is that maybe you want to take a different trade, but you don't want to screw up the other trades that you're in. Right? Maybe you don't want to execute a secondary copy. You want to basically move things over. You can basically change the infrastructure of how you copy. Maybe you've got 10 unassigned accounts in here. You've already copied 10. Maybe you want to shut down the one leader, assign another follower, and not mess up the other 10 that's in the trade. There's a lot of things that we've done for flexibility that allow you to control the leaders and the followers in individual instances of themselves. Now, that's obviously in the settings. We're not going to go into the weeds today. We'll do that tomorrow in the MA, but let's just say that it's exciting. Okay. Now, what I really like about this is that at any given glance, you get a subtotal of everything that's going on in your leaders. You might have multiple leader accounts. You might have multiple follower accounts. At any given time, you're going to be able to see the total exposure at a very, very quick glance. We've got easy drop down menus so that at any given time you can collapse these things. And what's really cool is see these little cog buttons over here. These are click and drags. If you want to move this account into a leader, you just click and drag it. Just click and drag, drag and drop, drag and drop, drag and drop. It is so user friendly that all you do is click, drag, and it just moves the accounts over wherever you want. Okay. One of the things that I like is that all of these functions up here are controlled by a right-click drop-down function. You can easily hide them, move them, turn them on or off, etc. And then all of these max risk controls, copy multipliers, max gain, max loss, all of these are functions that you can actually edit. So you can set, do you want to have a max gain and profit loss set? You want to maybe max drawdown is 3,000 for the day. You can set that. You have a max target of like 5,000 for the day. You can set that. Maybe you want to copy at a 1-to-1 ratio or a 5-to-1 ratio, et cetera. You can set all these. These are all editable right here. You just type Just type, just set the numbers and everything will follow suit. Okay. Now, let's get into this. Here's a great example of just two charts running the copiers. Nothing crazy here on this. I'm going to bypass this picture because ultimately this just shows the copiers in action, just shows that they're working, etc. But I want to kind of go into this for a second. Okay. This is kind of a summary of what we think we stand out across the majority of all copiers, right? Obviously there's going to be other platform copiers out there that do different things for different reasons. We built this to do what we felt is most necessary, not only from the trader's perspective, but from the risk manager's perspective. The big thing for us is the latency. Why? Because it matters. It matters. It also matters that you can multi-prop, multi-broker all within the same instance. Okay. What does that even mean? Well, it means that you're not just dependent on one prop firm connection. Maybe you want to connect to AMP, and then you want to connect to interactive brokers, and then you want to connect to whatever, and then you want to connect to 5 prop firm accounts. You can do all of that simultaneously inside of the Tickblaze copier, okay? Which is really, really, really important because you just can't do that on all these other copiers. It doesn't. They're only built to work in one instance. Maybe they're only working with Rhythmic, or they're only working with whatever they connect to. This works with whatever you have a connection to in Tickblaze. So this is very, very important. Okay. The other thing too is we talk about that we discovered this. We are whatever you have data for, like whatever you have data for inside of the platform, and whatever you're copying. I'll give you an example. Like we have a few companies right now that are under contract coming in Q1 of next year that are launching crypto prop firms with Tickblaze. We have stock firms, we have futures firms, we have CFD firms that are getting ready to deploy with us. 2026 is going to be a huge year for Tickblaze in terms of working with a lot of prop firms. And so we needed to make sure that the technology services all the asset classes. Yes, CFD firms, Forex firms, Thomas. Yes, we have a lot of Forex firms that are in discussion with us. Yes. So the question is can we support it? Most copiers don't. Most copiers only support what the prop firms support or what the data provider supports. So the Tickblaze platform allows for this. Okay. It is offline, local, and private. So this is very important. Security is very important. It may not be as important as you think, but I can tell you right now that it is very, very important, not only for your benefit, for the firms that are allowing you to trade with them, and ultimately for the servers and the auditing. Okay, so one of the things that down here, let's just go back to this little baby down here, right? Or let's just go back down here, audit trails. Okay, that is not a factor. This does not happen in the other copiers. They don't allow it. Why don't they allow it? Because it just basically points out their flaws. It points out the breakage. It points out that the copier could be responsible for something. And therefore, from a security perspective, it doesn't exist. We had to put that in, excuse me, because we need to be able to ensure that we can track the activity going on so we can work with the trader, work with the firm. Symbol mapping. Some copiers, they have limited aspects to this, or some of them don't even do it. There is surely no risk functions built in. Most copiers don't even provide the ability to do this from a max gain, max loss, or multiplier perspective. We provide unlimited leader and follower accounts. You could have as many leader accounts as you want, as many follower accounts as you want, as long as you don't blow a gasket mentally. Okay, just promise me this: you're not going to go and try to trade 500 accounts a day. Not that you bought 500 accounts. I don't think there's enough firms out there to support that. But the key here is that we're not here to restrict you. If you're trading with a bunch of different prop firms, you want to set up multiple leaders for whatever reason, multiple strategies, awesome. Okay, we can track everything. Both in the audit trail as well as inside of the actual platform from order execution. And it's basically in real time, it's grouped and it's per account. Setup is instant. It's in the platform. As long as you have Tickblaze or you download Tickblaze, it's as easy as click new copier, and it just loads a window. You don't have any installers, you don't have any updates, you don't have any bug fixes, nothing. It's all instantaneous. The reason we built it inside is that it's in sync with the brokers. It has to be in sync with the broker connections. Okay. So as long as the broker is connected to the platform, okay, the platform copier will operate. Okay. If for whatever reason the broker connection shuts down or the broker shuts down or there's a connection on that, then all you do is just reconnect to the broker and everything will basically load again, right? So it's all dependent on the platform broker connectivity. And then back to the audit trail and the logging and stuff. This is really, really there to help everybody. Okay. And we'll get into that. Okay. Does everybody understand that? Type of yes, this is kind of exciting. You understand that and you're excited for what's coming. Great. Fantastic. Me too. I'm excited to see you guys use it. Okay. So when we look at the subtotals, I already talked about this, but I'm going to bring it back to this. Is I like to see this. I like to always see at a glance my total exposure across the company, across the accounts, the business that I'm running. As a trader, I consider it a company. I consider it a business, right? So if you're going to be trading 5 accounts, that's a business. That's a company, right? If you're going to trade for 5 prop firms, maybe you have 5 leader accounts and you have 5 and you have 25 follower accounts spread out across all of that. You guys get that, right? So the goal here is that, like, I like to be able to see things at a glance very quickly. It's also good for anybody that's running YouTube influencer channels or anybody likes to just show their overall exposure, just at a glance, you know, your overall glance for the day. I just think it'll be good just for everybody to be able to see things in a glance. Okay. Now, here's a great example of flattened functions. Flatten functions are your lifeline. Why? Because we've all been there, and you need to flatten things when you need to. And the key here is that we have master kill switches, but we also have right-click functions. Now, what is a right-click function? The right-click function allows you to control things the way you want. The master flatten all buttons are there to basically kill everything in that group. So like I said before, let me just kind of discuss this. This is the master oh shit handle. This is the oh my god, world is coming to an end, kill everything. This is to flatten all your leaders as an entire group. So if you kill that, you hit that flatten button right here, you're going to flatten all of your leader accounts, okay? And if you flatten here, you're going to flatten all of your follower accounts. But what's really cool is that you can actually right-click on any account, okay? And you can flatten account. You can flatten all accounts. You can flatten all group leaders. You can flatten all group followers. You can change your column functions. So the reason this is done is because it allows you unparalleled control of how you manage your accounts. And we couldn't have this. We didn't have this on other platform copiers because, you know, there's a lot of work to build this. Like it really is not an easy thing to accomplish. And by building it into Tickblaze, we had that in the ability to do that. Now, here's the audit log. So this is the really, really cool part, is that the audit log is going to represent a date and just a little button here that you click and it opens up Pandora's box, and everything that happened inside of that audit trail, it allows you to go into the granularities of what took place across the entire platform copier that day. Now, there's a lot of information that's going to be in there. So trust me when I say this is designed for us to do QA. It's designed for you to do QA. It's designed for everybody to understand things. It's written in English. Not that it's not supporting other languages, but I mean, what I mean by English is that it's simple. It's like 1 leader copied a total quantity of 10 across 2 positions to 2 followers. Wow. Okay. That's all I can say is wow, right? 2 follower accounts executed a total copy quantity of 15. Okay. You want to see it? Click here. It's going to show all that activity. Okay. And that's the cool thing of basically being able to help you and the firm if you're ever in question or you need assistance. This works in both ways. It'll help the firms and it'll also help the traders. Okay. It'll also help our QA team to ensure that if there is a bug or if there is something we need to address, we can fix it accordingly. Okay. And that's done for everybody. So give me a thumbs up that this is well received, because this doesn't exist in copier land. And I think it's time to set a new narrative. Great. So one of the things for us is that we like to keep things super simple. So everything works on a tabbed interface. So when you load the window inside of the platform, you have these, 1, 2, 3, 4 different sections. Okay. So you have copy groups, which you can set all the settings for your copy groups. You have your copier log, which will give you your audit log. You have your global settings, which is basically all of the settings across all of your functionality. And then you have your color styling and everything else like that. Yes, you can make some pretty cool, fancy looking copiers. Why? Because it's built inside the platform, which gives you the ability to change the way you like to make things look. Okay. Now, don't go sending me a bunch of pink copier settings, guys. I'm just not into it, right? Now, all jokes aside, though, it's easy. And we're going to go through all of these things tomorrow. We're going to go through how to set everything up. We're going to go through all of the instances of this, but let's take a look inside of what these settings mean, okay? We have the ability for you to just click on the settings, and then it opens up a window, and then it's got a very intuitive drop down that allows you to be able to choose, show, these are all settings that we're going to discuss tomorrow. Why? Because it takes a lot of extra time to go through these settings. And this will only be unlocked if you are a company that works with us. We have you under contract. We have KYC'd you, and we know that your risk manager is compliant, right? Because this was built for prop firms and broker use as well. And why, and I'll explain why this is there to protect you as well, is that some of these functions are not legally allowed at a trader's level. Okay, it could create situations where you could actually be a harm to yourself or be, bordering on the line of doing things that are illegal, and it cannot be done at a trader level. And so we're very much about protecting regulation, compliance, and trader functionality. But I'll give you an example, right? Well, I'll give you a great example, which we'll talk about in a second and tomorrow, but I'll give you an example. For you to hedge yourself is illegal. Everybody understand that? In the futures industry, hedging is illegal, right? You can't hedge. Give me a yes that you understand that. You can't go long and short the yes at the same time. It's illegal, okay? It's against the law, okay? Well, as a prop firm, if you've got a bunch of traders going long and you want to take the risk off of the company because you know that a trader needs, all these traders are failing and they're always going long, and you want to go the other side to hedge the downside risk of a firm, it's not illegal for a trader or a broker or a prop firm to do that because they're not the ones taking those trades, right? But there's the thing is that we need to understand the nature of this. We need to understand the ability for the firm to know what they're doing, and that involves a contract, and that involves you guys understand where we're going this. But why do we have these functions? Because Tickblaze is a platform that supports broker and prop firms, right? And the key is that it just depends on the nature of the firm, and it depends on the use case. Not all A booking and B booking is illegal. Not all, risk management and hedging is illegal. And so it just depends on the user, the use case, et cetera. Right now, we've looked extensively. We've talked to counsel on this. We've looked at everything. But these functions are not there for all traders. Okay. And so just knowing this, it's very, very, very important that these are not enabled by, they're not enabled for the traders to use. Okay. Does that make sense? Making sure that you guys understand that. Okay. Now, micro to mini, micro to mini, mini to micro mapping. Okay. So what does this mean? Okay. So a good example of the risk manager settings up here. Okay. You're going to see it's grayed out. You see that little red icon? It's going to pop up. It says you need to contact compliance. You need to be going under KYC and all that stuff. So you don't have to worry about that. It's not going to apply to 99.9% of all traders in here. Okay. But all of this will, right? So you can go micro to mini mapping, or you can go mini to micro mapping. So what this means is that if you want to go micro to mini, if you wanted to say, take a trade in a micro, you click it, your leader will be an MES, but it's going to execute in an S&P. Make sense? And if you want to execute on MNQ, and you want to basically execute into the NQ, right? And the opposite is true. So it depends on your need for slippage or commissions, or maybe you want to trade the big contract, but you want to execute in the micros, maybe just because you trust the analysis on it more, whatever the case is. Sometimes there's a pretty good parity between the two, but other times there's not. Okay. So we want to make sure that you understand that you have that functionality. You could go here and click it here, or you could click on this button here, go to mini to micro, which means every time you execute in the S&P, it's going to execute in micros instead of the S&P. Does this make sense to you guys? Pretty straightforward. Yeah, you guys get the picture. Okay. Now, when you go to set this up, you have the ability to change all of the colors. You can change the backgrounds, you can change the text, you can change the colors, the lines, the fonts, the numbers. Why is that important? Well, everybody's different, right? You got some old traders, you've got some new traders, you've got experienced, non-experienced. Some people like different colors, people like to set things up differently. So we really wanted to build this like it was a part of the platform, which really makes it customized. You get to customize your copier. If you go and use any of these other copiers out there, you don't have any flexibility. You have no control over the tool set. So we thought that it was good for us to build that. It allows you to be able to understand, just having fun with your tools. Who doesn't like to change the colors of their indicators? I mean, for God's sakes, everybody does it. And if you don't have that flexibility, it pretty much limits your ability to use the tools. So we really provide that flexibility as a user intuitive solution. Okay. Now, this is custom capabilities for risk managers. This really isn't going to really support all firms. I'll give you an example of A booking and B booking modes in futures are different than in CFDs, right? There's different regulations in different countries and different jurisdictions. So this is why it's not turned on, because we have to go into due diligence to make sure that our compliance team can approve certain functions. Some firms based in the US will not be allowed to do some of the things that other firms are allowed to do in Europe or in other jurisdictions, right? So there's things that we have to review, and therefore we have this turned off. But that doesn't mean that you can't do it. If you're in here and you're a risk manager for a prop firm, or if you're managing a fund and you have a license or you're doing certain things, if you feel that you can benefit from the risk manager functions, and we can verify that with legal and counsel for compliance, then there's the ability to unlock different functionalities. This was built to support prop firms and brokers using the technology. Okay, not necessarily the traders, but I think you can understand at what arm's length we've gone to build a superior product. This is built not to just service the B2C client base. This is built to service what all the other prop firm copiers do not do, including Trade-of-8, including Quant Tower, including everything that exists. Why? Because we have a lot of future expansion coming in very, very near time. We have a lot of prop firms and brokers getting ready to use Tickblaze, and these were based on request and in different countries and for different asset classes. So just remember, equities are regulated different than futures. Futures are regulated different than CFDs. Every country is different, so it is on a case-by-case basis. Does everybody understand this? And just to remind everybody that we are represented by some of the biggest law firms in the world, so we would never turn something on unless it is approved. Capiche? Make sense, everybody? And for all of you ex-lawyers and people that understand regulation, I can assure you any feedback is welcomed, but I can promise you this, that we're represented by great counsel and nothing is turned on unless it is verifiably allowed. That is done by design. Okay. John says, hey, good information, but I'm just a simple trader. Let's rock and roll. But it's good. You never know. Like there's been a lot of traders that have traded with us and now they've launched prop firms and they want to be able to do things in different countries, right? We have different asset classes with different prop firms, right? So it's important. All right. So here's what we're going to do. Okay. Do you guys want to see it? You guys want to kind of see it? Anybody want to see this? All right, let's get into it. All right, let's go here. So here it is. Okay, so I've just connected to Rhythmic just because I'm going to keep it easy. I've got some PST accounts here. If anybody here doesn't know Rhythmic, you're sleeping under a rock. But the point is that I've just got a bunch of accounts with Rhythmic here. And the way that it works is I'm just going to close this out. Okay, so I'm going to close it. I got a chart. Okay, and I'm connected to Rhythmic, so you can see that here's all my Rhythmic accounts. I've got 5 active accounts, etc. Okay. Does everybody understand this? Just let me know you've got. And so what I've done is I've connected to my data provider and I've connected to my broker provider. Yes, everybody understands this? Remember, in order for you to read accounts, you need to read the broker. And yeah, because I blew the other ones out testing the copiers. Yeah, just a disclaimer. I blew out a shitload of accounts copying these. Yeah, I was buying the dip, Johannes. Yeah, exactly. So all jokes aside, guys, let's get into this. Okay. The way that this works is that we have 2 functions. I can come in here and I can go new trade copier. Wah. Or I could come in here and I could go new trade copier. Wah. That's my funny sound effects. Okay. So let's do this. And you're going to see here, I'm going to just create a new copy group. Okay, so it's super, super easy. I'm just going to create a new copy group. So here, just click on this new copy group, create a new copy group. And I'm going to call it webinar demo 2. And I'm going to hit OK. And here's the cool thing. I've got all these unassigned accounts down here. See that? And what's cool is if you have blown accounts, if you failed accounts, you're going to see that they're all crossed out. You can't use those. Those are accounts that are no longer active. You can't work with those. But you can see all these accounts down here that are, right? You see they're unassigned. Right? These accounts are unassigned. You see we have no connected leader accounts. And it's cool. It keeps moving. Do you see how it's moving? Like it's kind of pulsing. That's kind of like a wake up call. Say, hey guys, you need to put some accounts here. Like you have nothing going on. It's time to drag and drop these accounts so that you can actually start trading. So you can see them moving. Does everybody see this pulsing like this? You can increase the font and you can see it pulsing, but they're going to be moving. Yeah, so it's done by design. It's done to show you that there's nothing going on in here and it's time to do something. Now, obviously, I have an account and I've got 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So let's set the 11 as a leader. I click here and I just drag it. Just super simple. Just drag it. I'm going to drag the other ones here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to just turn this down. That's it. My copier is set up. Now, let's go into this. We can go in here and I can change the multiplier. You can hover over this. You can change the risk controls. You can set a max loss. You can set a max gain, et cetera, et cetera. For me, I'm just going to copy at the same multiplier. So if I don't want to see anything, I can go to columns and I can turn off multiplier and it's no longer there. If I don't have any risk controls, maybe I'm not setting any max loss and gain controls, and maybe I don't care about that. I just right click, go to columns. I can turn off risk control, right? I can turn off max loss, max gain, and I can basically just see everything here. Everything is about just making it super easy for you to trade. And now you can see that all I care about is my open P&L, open quantity, closed, total profit, remaining drawdown, which is really cool. You can actually see that your remaining drawdown and the balance for those accounts, right? Another thing you can do is you can just click on them, okay, just like this to engage them. And essentially, you just see this little disabled button up here. It's not going to do anything unless you enable it. So I hit enabled and look, you see here it says copier active. Why is that important? Let me just explain something. If you hide it like this and you don't want to see it because you're trading, you know that the copier is active. You know that you have an active copier and it's doing something. Why? Because it's active. Doesn't mean you're in a trade, but it's turned on. And it's really nice that you can just pin it and make it super, super easy. Okay. Now, another thing too is that if you want to go in and change the settings, here's the log. Here's all of the different examples of what a log can do. And these are all the examples of all the other accounts I've been testing on and all that fun stuff. But this is really cool about going into the audit log. It just goes and shows you everything. Here's all the global settings, right? Here's the copier groups, which you'll be living pretty much here after you set everything up. And then you can go into the copier log and you can basically see everything. Then you can go to global settings. And this is where you can actually see the main control settings. You can go in here and hit all the drop downs. Very, very easy, very simple. We're going to go into what all these mean tomorrow. It's super, super easy, guys. That's why we're doing this. And if I want to change the colors, I can. Remember, if you want to turn off the columns, you can, but we've made it so you can do them in multiple places. If I want to change the background, the foregrounds, the colors of my text, if I want to make this lime green and I want to make this red, I can do that and then hit it, go to copier groups, right? I can just change it a little bit, right? So here we go. Let's say I want to go to a micro. Let's just do MNQ. Let's just hit that up. Okay, let's load it up. And, should I buy the dip? Markets are going down. Should I buy or should I sell here, guys? Tell me what to do. I'm going to place a test account. Should I be buying the dip or should I sell? Brian says sell. I don't know, guys, right? Tell me sell, sell, sell. Am I buying? Am I selling? Should I buy? Okay. If I buy and it goes down, you guys are buying me a copier, okay? Okay, I'm going to sell it. Sell it at market, sell it at the ask, right? Make sure my copier is there. I can hit this and hit sell, right? Boom. So there it is. So I'm in the market, right? Bing, bang, boom, Bob's your uncle, right? So remember, and this is very, very important that you understand this, is that you will see that these, okay, so I told you I should have bought the dip, guys. Here's the thing. These are going to match your broker connection. If at any given time you see this number slightly different than this, that is not latency. Let me explain something. This is fed by data. Okay. This is fed by broker. Let me explain the difference. The way that Tickblaze is designed is you connect your data connection and your broker connection differently. Okay. And so the copier will always read the broker. Why? Because it's what it's doing. It's executing through the broker engine. So most of the time they're going to be in sync. Some of the times they won't be. Why? Because sometimes data and broker are not in sync. Does that make sense? And yes, you will see commissions, guys. I remember earlier I said, are there commissions? Somebody asked if there's commissions. The answer is always yes. It's in the closed P&L. Because when you set up a trade right now, you can see that I had $6 commission on that trade, which is extremely crazy. I don't know why I'm taking $6 on a micro, but something's got to be changing my settings. But long story short, okay, you can see that. Does that make sense, guys? Does everybody understand that? What's really cool about this is that now, let's say I'm trading for Prop Shop, right? Let's say I'm trading for Prop Shop and I want to go trade for Apex, or I want to go trade for Top Step, or I want to go trade for this, or I want to go trade for that, or I want to connect to my Interactive Brokers account, okay? New desktop, create new desktop. Why? Because you can create multiple connections, multiple brokers, multiple prop, all within different instances. However, here's the thing. As soon as I create a second desktop, and I connect it to prop firm number 2 or broker number 2, and maybe I've got 10 accounts with the other company, the copier will read all accounts unified across all of the connections. So you only need to understand that if you want to connect to multiple brokers or multiple prop firms, one copier to rule them all. It reads all of the multiple connected data and all of the multiple connected brokers once. Why is that important? Well, because you don't want to have 20 freaking copiers for 20 freaking prop firms, right? You want one copier to manage all prop firms and all broker connections, but you need to have them connected because Tickblaze needs to read those connections, right? And so the goal here is to be able to understand why that's done. And we'll go over examples tomorrow. What's really cool is a lot of people don't understand is that you can see the drawdown limits in the copiers, right? Like most people don't realize this, that you have a drawdown right here. But most people don't realize is that we also have it in the platform. So you can actually read that. You can see it. You just turn that on. You go to data series, you go show loss limit line, and then you can actually see the drawdowns and you can actually see them in the copier and you can actually see them on the platform. Okay. And so let's just make sure that everyone understands that. And let's just make sure that we're doing everything here at the right time. Let's hit the flatten button. This will flatten all positions. Now this popped up a warning message. If you don't want a warning message, you go into the settings and change it. Yes. Well, guess everybody that told me to sell, we're all in shape. Makes sense, guys? Fantastic. Now there's going to be a lot of questions. There's going to be a lot of questions. So let me just go through here for a second and let's get back into this. One second here. I got to switch my presenter slide. There we go. Can everybody see that now, guys? Everybody see that? Now, can I just share something with everybody that trade copiers are not easy to build? I'm going to explain why. Order execution is the most difficult thing anybody can do. There's just a million different ways in which order execution operates. And so I just want to give a big shout out to my team because they pulled a, a Hail Mary of doing some things that, like, I've seen companies build trade copiers. It takes them years, which we did in a very, very different capacity. Now it's because we have a big team. We're very fortunate. But let me explain, that you guys are definitely in good hands. Okay. Now, who wants a free license? Do we have a link for this? I don't know. Do we have a link for this? Who's got the license? Pete, Jim. Okay, so keep posting it. So can you guys do me a favor? We just posted that link. You're going to keep posting the link because somebody is probably lost in the chat. Let's keep posting that link. I don't know whoever posted it. There we go. Okay, so can you guys do me a favor and fill that out? And I didn't even know the next slide. Okay, so I'm getting surprised here, Jim. So you're gonna have to bring me up to speed. So let me bring you up to. Are these warrior accounts?
Yeah, yeah, we're giving away a 50K warrior.
Okay, so we're gonna give away a trade copier, and we're gonna give away a 50K account to somebody. So somebody's
Yep,
winning a copier, and somebody's winning an account. Okay, great.
yep.
Fantastic. So
Good
Prop
stuff.
Shop Trader is obviously, we own Prop Shop Trader, and obviously we work with a lot of traders using copiers. So as an extension of this event, we're going to give one license away to a trade copier, and we're also going to give a warrior account away to somebody who wants to trade with Prop Shop. Now, while everybody's doing this, did you guys enjoy the event? You guys, did we live up to your guys' expectations? Yes. I mean, it's a trade copier, so we're not sitting here trying to talk about buying and selling. We're talking about account management, right? How many of you guys are excited about this? Okay. Great. Me too. Me too.
I want to share something too that wanted to kind of wait for the right time, but wanted to share something that is really, really unique to this specific copier as well, that no other copier does. And that is that if you set a max gain or max loss on your leader, and let's say you have multiple leaders because this leader you want to trade ES and the other one you want to trade NQ, or you just want to use multiple leaders, that's fine. You can set each leader to a max gain and max loss for the day. And if that leader trips that max gain or loss, it will close the followers that are following that specific trade only. So it does not flatten all of your followers. So if your followers are in additional positions that are not being led by the leader, it's not going to flatten those. It only flattens the ones that are being followed by the leader, which is something that no other copier does. And some of you that are more advanced are going to love that. So very cool.
Exactly. So remember, we're going to give away this. We're going to give away that. Let's go back for it, back for it, back for it, back for it. Who wants it? Who wants it? Who wants it? Do we have a winner? Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
I haven't gone that far yet.
Look at the NQ now. Is it going down or is it going up?
All right, let's pick a winner here. All right, winner for the copier. Can I get a John C? John C.
Where's John C at? You got to be here to enter winner, winner, chicken dinner. If you're not here,
John
oh,
C.
my dog won the copier. I think my dog's wanting it, Jim. Like he's barking at you. Lukey wants the copier. Where's John C at?
Yeah, that would be the one. That would
Who's
be the one there.
John Canipe?
Uh-huh. That would be the one. Super. So you've got a free copier. Congratulations. All
Cliff, you
right.
just won it, brother. Lady Luck is on your side.
Yeah, good stuff.
Congrats.
All right.
Everybody give him a round of applause because when I win, I like people to say congrats. When I don't win, I still say congrats to everybody else because you know what? It's about karma. And I promise you,
Mhm.
if you reward other people for winning, you are going to be a winner.
All right. And for the free warrior account, that is going to Jerron Coles. Congratulations.
Where's Drawn Coles?
Congrats,
Where's
Ron.
is it Ron or
Yeah, yeah,
Cole?
I'm Ron. Ron,
Okay.
Jerron. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah, there
Jaron.
you go.
Thank you, brother. Hey, you guys are rocking. Okay, congrats. Everybody's winning today. Fantastic.
Good stuff.
Okay, great. Okay, great. So are you guys ready to get into the batshit crazy pricing? Like it's it's we're the most affordable copier in the industry. Right. And that's what we wanted to do, guys. We understand that everybody's buying accounts and trading and breaking the bank and buying products and this and that. Brian's like, free. They can't be free or we won't be able to pay the developers. But let me explain something. We made it so that it's extremely, extremely affordable. And hopefully you guys receive that with a warm welcome. Okay, guys. So let's get into the price. You guys ready for the pricing? Type of yes, you guys are ready. Okay, let's do it. So it's $250 a year. What that works out to being is that works out to $25 a month and you guys get it 2 months free. It's an annual license. Okay. It's a subscription on an annual basis. Okay. It's literally next to free. There are copiers out that are like 35 or 45 bucks a month and they don't do anything that we do. Okay. So if you guys see value in what we've built and you guys want to use this, which I hope you do, It's just under $1 a day. Yeah, Rao says it's $1 a day if you want to trade. You know, I think it's a good way of putting it, Rao. Kudos to you. It's like, I think there's like 252 or 256 trading days in a year. So yeah, it's like $1 a
And
day.
if you're not
5
making a
ES
dollar,
points.
I was going to say,
Sorry.
if you're not making $1 a day in trading, then you should probably go to our trade room.
5 ES points a year. If you can manage that, you got it.
Great. There won't be any other discounts on this, guys. This is not an indicator or a strategy or anything like that. The Black Friday is not going to change this. You don't have to wait for Black Friday on this. So this is the copier cost. It is next to nothing. And so it's literally the most affordable copier in the industry. Okay. And so that way we can provide you that. Now this expires in 24 hours. Okay. This expires in 24 hours. So we're going to be doing a webinar tomorrow morning, bright and early. Okay. Bright and early. We're going to be going over it. We're going to show you how to set it up. We're going to show you how to go over multi-prop, multi-broker, et cetera, et cetera. No, this is not an ETP copier. We're not treating it the same way as the other partners were. It's just a completely different business model, et cetera. So it's not being packaged with any prop accounts. This is a Tickblaze product through and through because it's built inside of the platform, right? So it's an independent tool. If you're going to use it, you're going to have to buy it. It's built into the platform, et cetera. Does that make sense? Tickblaze doesn't cost anything. Tickblaze is free, Raja. Yeah, so that's a benefit. And I don't think you know this, but Tickblaze is a free platform. And we just won the Best Prop Trading Technology Award from Benzinga. I'll be posting that soon, but we just won Best Prop Firm Technology Award from what's coming. But anything about that, just let you know, is that Tickblaze is free. You don't got to buy it. So obviously this is a tool that you're going to want to get trained on. Yeah. So tomorrow is the AMA, 9 a.m. Eastern. Okay. I wouldn't say that. I don't know what other people are promising, but I can't speak for other people. So yeah, I'm the owner of the company. I'm telling you as it is. Yeah, maybe there was some other arrangements with somebody else. Maybe that's done with operations. We'll have to check. But yeah, this is the way it's at. Right. So what we're going to please do me a favor. I have one request. Okay, I have one request. Today is the day of the launch. Okay. Tomorrow is the AMA. And there's a lot of frickin' traders in here. We are recording this presentation. We'll record the AMA tomorrow. Please be patient with my support team. This is a much larger audience today due to the nature of this product. And therefore, what we want to do is we want to make sure we get to everybody. And you can use it, Kevin, if you can install it and watch the training videos on the YouTube channel. Yes. One thing that is there is, Jim, do you have the link to the YouTube? Can you provide that for me, please? I just want to get the link to the playlist.
Let me look it up real quick.
The AMA is tomorrow, guys.
I've got it right here.
Perfect. Yeah.
The AMA is tomorrow. So there's a link, guys. That's to hosts and panelists. So not everybody got it.
Whoops. Oh, sorry. I'm in the
Okay,
wrong thing.
thanks, Sharpshooter. Yeah. Yeah. It's to everybody. Yeah. So that's the so let's just do this here, guys. Take a look at this. So this is the playlist. You can go through and watch all these videos. Very, very easy. Come prepared, right? Come prepared for the AMA tomorrow. And yeah, just please do me a favor. And yeah, if you have questions, email support. My team will help you. And you guys are all set. Okay, so thank you guys for your business. Thank you guys for your belief in our products and services. AME means ask me anything. It's normally used for demos and deep dive training sessions. We're going to go over user documentation. We're going to go over examples. Jeff and JVC will be there most of the time taking the lead on that, guys, because they've helped build it and they're a part of that. Our team will be there. Yeah. Okay, guys.
I'll be there too in case you guys have questions about some of the orders and routing and specific use case models and things like that. So
yeah. So yeah, and if you have any questions or you need if there's something with purchasing or you need support, just send an email in, guys. We've got lots of people that will be here to help you guys. Yeah. Okay. Great. 24 hours, Marin. Yeah, the launch price is good for 24 hours. Yeah. So you won't be able to come to the AMA unless you own the product. So if you're planning on joining us, you probably want to get purchased today. Yeah. The copier is built into Tickblaze. So I believe you just need to restart your platform. Maybe you can speak on that, JBC. What do they need to do once they purchase? Is there anything, is there an instruction guide on the install page, or is there anything that's been done?
Pardon me. There is no specific instruction here because there really isn't anything to know. As long as you're running the latest version of Tickblaze and you have imported the zip file for the licensing, once you purchase, of course, all you got to do is relaunch Tickblaze and it should just be there. It should just be a new option under the new menu where you get your charts and your domes and all that stuff. Now you should see Trade Copier.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and you will be prompted to install the latest Tickblaze that just came out. So
yeah,
just do that. You'll be good.
Cool. Fantastic, guys. Yeah, any questions for Prop Shop support, you can direct them to Prop Shop. This is a Tickblaze event. This is not a Prop Shop event. So if you have questions on Prop Shop, just send an email in. Sorry if we can't provide assistance. It's just a different team. There it is. Yeah, just email and support at propshoptrader.com and we'll help you out. Yeah.
You can use 2 instances of the copier at the same time. Yes, that's a good question.
You can use live and sim accounts. Yes, you can. You can link live accounts and sim accounts. That is absolutely true.
It has to be through the broker, though.
Yeah, hang on. Let's be clear about that. The copier requires external broker accounts.
Yes.
So Rhythmic accounts could be their quote unquote sim, right? Live sim, whatever you call it. But the Tickblaze sim accounts will not be usable within the copier because they are not from an external broker. If you've got an external broker that provides some kind of sim account, then yeah, you can use it.
So let's make it simple, guys. Is like, let's say you have an account with Interactive Brokers and you want to set that as your leader, you can, but your followers need to be from another broker connection. They can't be the sim accounts inside of the platform. Like if you want to trade from AMP futures, you got a brokerage account, you want to copy it over to Interactive Brokers, you could. They require 2 connections, right? You need to do, we'll set this all up tomorrow, but remember that you're not copying the sim accounts inside of the desktops. You have to copy the desktops that are connected to broker accounts, which are Rhythmic or broker live accounts or anything we do. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You can set any leader you want as long as it's a connection that's supported in Tickblaze. Yeah. Same thing, followers. Yeah. All right, guys. I think I've done my part. The rest is up to my team to help support all of you guys. And yeah, thank you again for such an amazing time, amazing launch. Really, really excited and looking forward to seeing all of you copying yourselves to the promised lands. Don't be a copycat. I thought I'd end with that.
I want to copy myself. That'd be really useful.
I'd like to clone myself too. Yeah, about 5 of me right now would be really good for everybody.
Yes.
So anyways, guys, have a fantastic day and trade well. And thanks on behalf of the Tickblaze team. Be well, and we'll see you in the morning. Take care, traders.
See you all tomorrow.